Number 1. I had something really scary happen to me when I was around 18 years old in the early 1990s. I was really into cars back then, and I liked working on my own cars even though I'm a girl. I had a 1979 Z28 Camaro with T-tops, and in the summer I would go cruising around with my friends looking for something to do. One evening, while driving up and down the main street in the neighborhood city, I noticed a small red truck following us at a distance. I was with my friend Jenny, and I mentioned to her that I thought this truck was following us. I pulled into the driveway of a fast food restaurant and noticed the truck pulled into the restaurant 3 driveways back. I drove out in the other direction, and he did the same. Again, I pulled into another driveway, and the truck pulled in 3 driveways behind. I did this several times, and the truck kept following, always staying 3 driveways back. Jenny and I decided that we should just head towards home, which was about 30 minutes away. We thought that the driver of the truck would just give up and let us go, but he didn't. He just kept following. It was now getting very late, and we were beginning to worry as the truck had been following us for about an hour. We didn't want to go home and have him follow us there. I decided that the best thing to do would be to drive to the nearest police station. I told Jenny what I had planned on doing, and to my horror, she grabbed the steering wheel and pulled it, causing the car to veer sharply right. "What the hell are you doing?" I screamed at her. "You're gonna make us crash!" It was bad enough that I had to worry about the truck following us, but now I had to worry about my passenger freaking out and causing us to have an accident. "No, we can't go to the police," she insisted. It occurred to me right then that somehow she thought this was our fault. That somehow just by cruising around, she thought that we had done something to provoke this. I reluctantly drove away from the police station. We approached a bridge and were stopped by a red light on a one-way street. The truck was directly behind the car that was next to us. The car turned right, allowing the truck to pull forward. I looked over, and to my horror, this guy stepped out of his truck and was standing next to the passenger side of my car with no pants on, and he was masturbating. This guy didn't have any pants around his ankles. As a matter of fact, he had none at all. I had the disturbing feeling that he probably didn't even have any as he was following us this whole time. I hit the gas pedal and ran the red light going over the bridge. Somehow, my friend didn't see the guy that had been standing just outside her window. When I told her, she just kept saying, "No way." "How the hell did you not see that?" I asked her in disbelief. It occurred to me that this guy would have likely raped us if he had the chance. I drove up and down a few one-way streets and back over the bridge and out into the country. He followed us for what seemed like forever, until we were finally able to lose him going really fast in the middle of nowhere. We went home and tried to forget about it. For some reason, I never told my parents, and I'm not sure why. A few weeks later, I saw on the news that the police were looking for a guy in a small red truck. He was wanted for rape. They showed a picture, and it resembled the guy that had followed us. Number 2. This happened to me 7 years ago. I'm 20 years old now, and my parents were away for home for a family emergency. I'm the only child, and whenever my parents left, I stayed home, and I usually didn't get scared. It was the 3rd night by myself. I was playing video games and eating junk food when I heard a rather loud knock on the door. I was wondering who could be knocking at someone's door at a late time like this. I could see a man peering through the small glass windows surrounding the door. Then I could hear yelling, saying, "I'm really hurt, please let me in." I said, "What's wrong?" And he said he had broken his foot. This seemed kind of weird to me, so I asked him how he broke his foot, and he told me he was walking around the neighborhood, had tripped, and his foot landed in an odd way. He was begging me and screaming, telling me that if he gets really hurt, he's going to sue me for not helping him. I said I'd call the ambulance for him, and told him to wait outside. After that, he said, "If you don't let me in, I'll slit your throat, and I'll cut your body parts in half." As soon as he said that, I grabbed my dad's shotgun, he keeps in the highest shelf in the kitchen, and a phone to call the police. I told the man that the police are on their way, and he told me that they wouldn't make it in time. He was trying to bust open my dining room window. By the way he was hitting it, it looked like it was about to break. I quickly ran upstairs into my room and decided to hide under the bed. I called the cops, and the operator told me that they would be there in a couple of minutes. As soon as the operator had said that, I heard the window break. He must have found a large rock in my front yard. I could hear him checking all the rooms downstairs. Then, I heard him coming up the stairs. He checked my parents' bedroom and the closet. Then I heard him trying to open my door. I gripped the shotgun tightly in my hands and I waited for him to break down the door. He was now kicking it as hard as he could. In just a couple of hits, he knocked it down. I could see his feet as he tried to open the closet door in my room, which I purposefully locked to confuse him. He said, "I know you're in there." Should I grab his leg or try to sneak past him and run out? I wouldn't be able to sneak out without making some kind of noise. At that moment, I had forgotten I was under the bed, and I went up and hit my head, making a very loud noise. The man had quickly turned around. He said, "Oh, trying to be a smartass with me, huh?" Then I heard the sirens. He said, "Oh, fuck. You got lucky this time, but you won't the next." He tried to run out of my room, but I grabbed his right foot, making him fall. I was holding onto it with all my might when I heard the police rushing up the stairs. They got hold of the man, and I came out with my shotgun, and the police were now pointing their guns at me. I quickly explained everything, and the police understood. Apparently, they found the man's van parked in front of my house. He had many sharp knives, duct tape, a camera, and rope. I can't imagine what he would have done if I hadn't have locked that closet door. The police called my parents and told them what had happened, and they came home 3 days early. My mom hugged me very tight, and so did my dad. My mom told me that the man had been sentenced to 15 years with a chance of getting parole. Number 3. This was on Halloween last year. Me and a couple of buddies were getting some candy. Our neighborhood isn't the nicest, but it isn't the worst. I'd say it's about medium. About 90 minutes in, we see a house with a sign that says, "Go to the van for your candy," which had an arrow pointing down, which meant behind us. Sure enough, we saw a black van. This house was at the end of a street, so it would have been easy to get away fast. Anyway, we go to the van, and we see a man in the driver's seat. He tells us something like, "Your candy is in the back here. Open up the door and get in so you can get some." I know when something's up, and my God, my alarms were punching my brain in the face with this. We looked at each other with a confused look. Then we asked the man, "Why isn't the door already open? Why couldn't you have just done the thing with a note or something?" He says nothing. He just tells us to get in the back for our candy. We say no, and continue on our candy collecting. About 20 minutes after the van event, we're about 2 blocks away when we see a van, about halfway down the street behind us. The same black van from before. I tell the others, and we agree to haul ass back to one of their houses. After the van notices us running, it straight up hauls ass in the other direction. Once we get to our houses and tell our parents, they call the police, screaming at them to find the van. Like I said, it's been a year now, and we agreed not to trick-or-treat this year. I don't know what would have happened if any one of us got into that van.